3, 2, 1.
Are we live?
Great.
Oh, we're live?
We're live. We're here. We're live.
We're here with Kim Anderson. She is our supervisory broker down in Kalamazoo and Stadium Drive and Portage offices.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
So
Yep.
So you drove up here. That's
Yep.
great. Welcome.
Yeah, thank
So,
you.
are you excited?
Sure. Always like to
Are you
share.
nervous?
No, not really.
So we were talking about before we started going live. You listened to a podcast. What was the podcast?
Mel Robbins.
Mel Robbins. I've heard that
It's
before.
called Mel Robbins Kick Ass.
Okay.
So she was just talking
do we bleep
about
that, or how does that
yeah.
work?
How's that
We
work?
don't.
Do you have like a little beep noise?
Oh,
Okay.
beep. Oh,
Put that on
Just
Dom.
yeah.
He's an editor. So she says, when you're nervous, tell us what we were
Well,
talking
I
about.
just heard it, so I haven't practiced it. But she said
Okay.
when you're nervous, there's the 5-second rule, or
Okay.
even when you're
What's the 5-second rule?
is to stop and count backwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So even if, say, I say something to you and it offends you, her rule is stop before you respond, count backwards, and that gives you a minute to get past that emotional response, to get to your frontal lobe properly, and the right thing will come out of your mouth.
Okay.
So she says.
Wow.
Or if you're nervous, same thing, just to get past that emotional response.
Take a second.
Take
5
a second,
seconds.
take 5 seconds.
Is the
and breathe.
counting, what does it do? It just slows you down?
Just slows you down, and she said eventually you will retrain your brain not to respond so quickly
Oh.
and to think it and get it back to the reasoning part.
So it's
past
like
the emotion.
respond to something, don't react?
Correct.
Is that kind of
Yeah,
idea?
that's what.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so it's pretty good. I need to.
And you've
learn
been
more.
doing it?
I just heard the podcast, but I was doing it today.
Did you? Yeah, for that. A lot of people get nervous about this, and it
I'm teasing. I'm
We
not
can just-
nervous, but
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
yeah.
That's awesome. Before we get into
Yeah.
more questions from you, and if anyone has a question for Kim, feel free to post that below the live stream right now, and we'll pepper that in as it comes about. But what is you live in Kalamazoo?
Yep.
Okay. Where were you born? What
I
city?
was born in Battle Creek, so it's
Battle
about
Creek?
30 minutes.
Okay.
Yep, from Kalamazoo. I moved
Paul
to
just
Portage.
left. First time ever during a live stream. Oh, coffee.
Coffee.
So, if you had to choose between, like, you could forever have Chinese food, Italian food, Mexican food, American food.
Forever.
Yeah,
I would probably go with American food.
American food, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Could
I'm
live off tacos. And,
not
What were the
tacos.
options?
I would live off of salads and hamburgers, probably.
okay, salad.
Yeah.
Yeah, potato
Yeah,
salad.
I like all those other things. I'm not a
I can
huge
just have
huge
it.
Italian person, but I like it. Yeah.
Just a Swedish cup.
Just a Swedish cup. All right, there you go. Would you like some coffee?
No, I'm good. I
You're
get
good,
those
okay.
things.
So that's great.
Yeah.
So you said American food. Yep.
American food, because I like salads every way.
I would probably go with Italian.
Would you? Yeah.
I could eat pizza forever.
So what were the options?
Chinese, Italian, Mexican, American.
Chinese, Italian. Probably Italian.
Okay.
Either that or Mexican.
Okay.
Yeah,
Italian.
Italian or Mexican for me.
That's awesome.
I like.
Do you have any
Mexican.
fun traditions for Christmas? Do you like Christmas? The Christmas time?
Yeah, I like Christmas.
Do you decorate the outside of your house?
No,
Do you have a
I'm.
tree?
I have a tree.
Okay.
If you saw my Facebook post out there, I have a tree.
Okay.
It stays put together. It gets taken down the stairs into the basement. Gets
I
a
saw
sheet
this on
over it.
Facebook, yeah.
It gets a sheet over it,
Mhm.
and then we just pull it back up. That makes it really easy. So
So why don't we do this then? We usually ask people what their origin story is, and I know we've talked several times, and so you have a very wonderful past and it's varied experiences and lots of different stuff. That's really interesting. But as it pertains to real estate, how did this become part of your life? You're now, why don't you tell us how your origin story about how you came into this industry?
to real estate.
Yeah.
So I had been in a nonprofit business for about 20 years and really loved helping people, loved the outreaches, very community oriented, very people oriented. We took that nonprofit to become international like in 5 years.
And it started with just 2 people?
2 people in a basement, yep, in the basement of our home. And then we started running a hotel room, and then we had this purple bag that we always carried with all of our little books and things that we needed, and we'd set up shop every Sunday morning. And then we grew out of that, and then we bought a building, we remodeled it, and then we grew out of that, and then we bought 30 acres, and we built a full-blown
Wow.
building. And
Was it like a camp?
Like a campus?
like campus. It was really just a building. It was a
Yeah.
church building.
Oh, okay.
But we had a ministry too that we used to speak a lot around
Okay.
different. My ex-husband was a very evangelistic person, so
Sure.
we did a lot of speaking, did a lot of missions. We have some interesting stories, like he was in Russia when the coup happened, and
Wow.
lots. We traveled a lot, so I had a very interesting background, and it was fun, and it was diverse, and so after 5 years we were speaking international. I would open for live worldwide speaking
So this is
events.
nothing. This
Well,
little
this is easy
live
peasy.
stream.
Yeah. So that was interesting. But so after about 20 years, then we decided to separate, and I said, what will I do that I get the rewards of what I'm doing here, but I could be independent? Sometimes you grow too fast. We grew so fast. I had staff. I had 100 volunteers that I turned around every single week. And I just, at that point, I was tired. And I just said, I just want to take care of myself. And I had this really great realtor when I moved to Kalamazoo. And like every realtor should,
Yeah.
he made it look so easy and so simple. And he always had on his suit and he was so polished and so professional. I said, I'm going to do what Bill does. And so I actually got in the business because he was such a good realtor and he had sold several of our homes. And so that was my...
How did you enter, as an agent, or were you on a team?
No, I came in as an agent.
Oh,
I
did
just
you?
said,
Okay.
I'm just gonna get my license, and it'll just be me to take care of. I won't have a staff. I don't have a secretary. I don't have
Nice.
100 volunteers. So I just jumped in. I didn't know any better. I just jumped in, knew everybody, started selling right away. Just
What year was this?
That would be 2001.
2001.
when I jumped in. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was still good then.
It was doing this.
It was on the high. Yeah.
Yeah.
My G-car orientation, I will never forget, was 9/11.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
that's where I was on that day when he came in to tell us.
It's
what was
amazing
happening.
how you know exactly.
Yeah.
Everyone, I think everyone does, don't they?
Yeah.
Knows exactly where they were.
Yeah.
Dom, how old were you? 2. Dom was 2, so
Where were
we'll
you?
cut you some slack.
Yeah.
Home.
He was home.
Crump
He was
Farms.
definitely home. Crump Farms up in Sparta.
Yeah. So that's how I got started, and I just jumped in and knew people, didn't know any better. I really believe that that's the best way to learn, and we teach that, is get the business and then you learn it. And I just talked to people and had business. I remember I had my first pending before my license showed up from the state.
Really?
And at that time, my manager then was not happy. And I'm like, I'd be so happy if I had an agent do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just
Yeah.
didn't really know, just talk to people.
So you
Just
kind
meet
of were
people.
like off to the races.
Yep.
You got your license and you were just like, boom, you were a realtor. There was no like 6-month warm up.
Nope. And
Is
I had
it-
bought and sold several homes. We had built the ministry, so I've had building. We
Mm-hmm.
had, my ex-husband was a journeyman carpenter, so I was always around homes. And we had always sold and made a profit, and always was just kind of part of my being already, though.
And probably the 20 years of speaking with people, handling events, lots of details, and you had a lot of skills. I mean, verbal skills, and essentially you were probably, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you were helping them with real estate as you were helping them with your nonprofit. So it's a good transfer of skills.
Right.
And, I could see how that.
Yeah,
would
you
be
get
good.
a pretty diverse set of things that you're doing, the multitasking.
Yeah.
The same as in real estate.
Sure.
You're their counselor, you're their encourager, you're their detail when it's the contract.
Yeah.
There's so many parts to it that it was normal for me. It was natural because we did all those
Cool.
things. Yeah.
Can I don't know where we are on this list of questions. Can I just jump around?
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm gonna circle
Alright.
back with that. That was
So I'm curious. You started in 2001, and then you got into management. You even started your own brokerage, right? Or you were a managing broker somewhere else.
Yeah, I was a managing broker somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't start my own. No.
So if you were to like, let's say you starting in 2001, the world looks a little different today than it did in 2001. What would you do now if you were starting over? If you were to go, hey, I'm going to go into real estate, or I'm moving to Detroit, or I'm moving to Traverse City or Chicago, and I'm going to start over, what would you do?
So I did do that in 2006.
Okay, tell me what you
The
did.
market was awesome, and my kids had just graduated from school.
Yeah.
It was just me, And I'm like, this is your time to adventure. So in about 2005, I think I got my Florida license and actually started to transition. So I was still selling here, but getting going there.
Yeah.
My parents lived there, so it was always my second home. And so I got my test, and then eventually I just made the move. So that would be 2006. Things
Also
were
a weird time.
It was weird. Things are still really high here. I
Yeah.
put my house on the market, thought it was going to sell for way over. That didn't sell because as soon as I got to Florida, things started to go down, like 2006.
That's the year I got in.
They started to go down.
Yeah.
Yep. So when I got there, I did sell for the first year and a half where some people weren't, but it was a tough time to get restarted. So what did I do there? I didn't know anybody.
Yeah. So what did you do?
So everywhere I went, I did what I always do. I just started talking to people. Whether that was at my gym class or I got involved in events, I'd go to local things that were happening in the community, and I just started to know people. And the thing what's easy with Florida is you can sit next to anybody and go, so where are you from? So I had my in-lines all the time. Where are you from? Oh, what's your story? And so
because no one's originally from Florida.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And sometimes I would just show up at a happy hour by myself and just sit and talk to people and ask their story. Pretty soon I have this friend or that friend. And Florida's very transient, so you have to kind of filter. There's a lot of different personalities, a lot of different people. So to me, it was kind of like someplace to explore because I never knew who I was going to get, and everybody always. And my key was I like to talk to people. I like to know about you. Like, oh, you're really interesting. Tell me more. I wouldn't sit and meet with somebody and talk about myself.
Right.
I would get to know them and create that, and then they look at me.
And even back then, like Facebook and social media at 2006 really wasn't even a thing that people were using barely using it for business at that point.
Right. Like there was no big announcement. Hey, I'm in Florida now.
No.
Here's my moving truck.
No, there was none of that. It was like infancy.
Yeah.
So would you do it the same way today as you did in 2006 and 2001? Because it seems like 2001 you just went out there, you made friends.
Yep.
2006 you went out there, made friends.
Yep.
Would you do the same exact thing in 2018?
I would. I would at least start with that. I believe real estate is always about relationships. It's about knowing people. It's about, we always say this, clients do business with who they know, like, and trust, and I live off of that. I've never been a big farmer. Every time I did farming, I never got any results, or I'd get one result. I think I did a postcard one time to a rental apartment.
Yeah.
And I made one sale, and then he resold, so I've got two off of that. But all those postcards you put out there, it just never, because you have to keep doing that.
Yeah.
You have to have a marketing plan. So my strong point has always been creating relationships, having them tell their friends. There's so many more ways now to be on social media, which I think social media would be my second.
Yeah.
Would be my
You'd
second.
be there.
Yeah, if I spend a lot of time in social media, yeah, I would do that.
I have noticed as long as we've been working together, you do attend events.
Yeah, I was going to say.
You attend a lot of events.
You're a networker.
I'm a networker. Yeah, I'm a networker. I don't go in there and my badge and I'm ready to.
Do you need those? Because we have a store now.
I know. I have those shirts.
Nice. If you haven't seen it,
We'll give it a little shout. Store.5starleaders.com.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Is that the website?
Yeah. This is sponsored by
This is by
StarLeaders.com.
And I have all those, but I'm careful because when I go in, I get sometimes pushback. When I go with my 5-star shirt on, people become very defensive.
Sure.
I just want to go in just as Kim.
Yeah.
I'm Kim. I'm your friend. I want to be a little mysterious. It's kind of like dating. Like if you tell them everything, they're like, "Oh, I already know it all, right?" Mm-hmm. So you gotta figure this out. So that's
little cat and mouse.
Yeah, little cat and mouse. Yeah.
Dancing.
Yeah, and the times that I have come out and somebody's at a networking, well, we're number one, and one time I got into that, and that didn't end well. It was like, I'm never doing that again.
Doesn't feel authentic
good.
or something.
We just got egos going
Yeah.
like this. So when I do network a lot, I try to be sure that I'm present in the community, I'm serving the community, I'm helping people. I know that at all times people are watching, whether it's our clients and we're at the gym or their child's PTO or event, or whether I'm networking with realtors, which is my focus, that people are always sizing you up even when you don't know. So that's why I don't have the 5-star license plate on my car.
So I have a question with this.
You missed that.
That's great. Yeah, that's okay.
You missed that.
So then what if you don't have like your own personal billboard going on.
Yep.
What do you do at networking? I'm not a natural networker.
Okay.
I will find the corner of the room. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And so it's not a skill that I'm good at. So what do you do? Do you just
Talk to
just
people.
talk to people?
Yep. You have to have it positive no matter how your day is. You never let that show.
Yeah.
Which days are stressful. They can be. So, you can't carry that in. I just go in and I like talking to people. I like to see people and just go into their world. And usually before it's over, they'll start telling me things that I'm always building trust. And we talk about that a lot. Like I had an agent come in the other day, and she was going on a pre-listing appointment, went through all the details and all the tools and all the information she needed. And at the end of that, we Googled this person to see, he had mentioned that his mother had passed away. So, well, let's find out when. We Googled it, found out that funeral had not even happened, and she was meeting. So I said to her, all of this but you're going in to establish trust. These people are very vulnerable. Right now, you're not telling they have a reverse mortgage. You're just going in. So I always look at it as I'm just here to establish a relationship and trust with you, and then they usually are the ones that will come and want to talk, because I'm now somebody that they trust to talk to about what's going on in their lives.
I'm just going to dig a little bit more.
Sure.
How do you build trust quickly in relationships? This is very applicable to realtors.
Yep.
But how do you do it?
I listen.
Okay.
I don't.
I know it's simple stuff.
It's simple. I listen. I do not give opinions. Even though you tell me something, I never give an opinion. I will always build up them as an agent, even with another company. Always build up their company to them. So keep the negative out and really just listen to them and be positive. Be somebody that puts off a great energy that they go, I would like to spend more time. And I'm very subtle. I'm not very confrontational. I wait for them, and I always like warm leads. I'm not a cold lead person. I can cold call in sales. It's not my favorite, but I like a warm lead where I'm looking for a signal. I'm always looking for an opportunity. I had an agent that was getting ready to make a move to another company, and it wasn't our company. And she started telling me all these things, and I'm thinking, well, why are you telling me this? You're not coming to 5-star. But I helped her. I helped her. And so I'm always looking to get in their world and help them feel safe and genuinely like them. Like maybe we were even talking about real estate. Maybe their daughter's in volleyball and she just won an award. I really get in their world and just roll with whatever they have happening and be very supportive. I very rarely talk about myself or 5-star and it's genuine. I'm not doing it on purpose, because if you want to talk about 5-star, I'm going to set coffee. Right? And we're going to grab some coffee. So usually it's just really the first thing would be you listen a lot.
Yeah, that's a subtle. It's an art almost in conversating and meeting with people. I liked when you would. What I heard was that you would ask questions, talk to people, and then you never give your opinion, probably unless it's asked.
Right.
That's really important, because when you're an agent, you're expected to talk, or when you have these new networking opportunities, people love to talk, right? And I've been in these situations where I'm talking, I'm like, man, I just vomited all over you guys. What do you guys think? Instead of, and then I'm always in control. But if you cede control, and it really takes kind of an awareness and a humility to go, you're gonna be first in my life. You're the most important thing right now, and this is what you mean, right? And so until they go, what do you think, Kim? That's when you give your opinion. Not anything else is not sharing. You're challenging them in a way, right?
Right. It's challenging them. And I've learned, and I'm like that. In my world, I give off what I want. I don't want someone's opinion until I ask you. And then when I ask you, hey, Leo, what do you think? I'm all ears. But I don't just like everybody interjecting into my world till I ask you for it. Now, in leadership and as a working relationship, it's a little different. People have voices. But out there, it doesn't matter to me what they think unless there's somebody that should matter. So I'm very subtle. I'm very kind. I go up to people and genuinely like, hey, how you doing? How's business? Oh, I've had 27 sales this year. And you just let them... You just let them tell and encourage them, and what a great year that you're having, and glad to hear. Just really step into their world, and and it is really genuine. I'm glad you're having
makes
a
you
great
safe.
year. It makes
Yeah.
me safe. Yeah, like I'm not judging you because you're at another company, and even our own agents, same thing with our own agents. How's your year going? How are you doing? And just asking people how they are and making it about them.
It's we're talking about it in very simple terms, but it's very unique. I think that it needs to be thought about. It like I'll take that in my life and go, that's really good. To be never give an opinion unless it's asked. And be genuinely, sincerely interested.
Well, the same as when we
That's
go
good.
into a home and they've asked us to come look at their home, give them a market analysis, a range of pricing.
Yeah.
And Don talked about this in Don Live. Before we just go in and start saying you need to do this and this, always ask permission. Could we walk around your home? Would you mind if I give you a few tips of some suggestions that I think would help us to get more money?
It's
in a shorter-
asking.
It's asking. Yeah.
It's like
asking.
getting permission to help them. It's
Yeah,
it's
I like to
subtle.
ask
It's
first.
like-
Yeah, and that's because once again, I want someone to ask me to be into my life before they just start saying things. So I give that back to people. And part of I was in ministry for a long time, and you work with a lot of different people, so you learn people skills. I believe real estate and selling real estate is the same thing. It's a people business. It's about knowing people. It's about being able to understand their personality, working with them. We talked about that, maybe getting on that subject, challenging clients. I try to mirror what that client is. If they're soft-spoken, I'm not going to be in like this,
Yeah.
right? Right? You're going to be like, ooh, it's going to push you away. So, and even in some classes that you learn that by doing what you're doing like this, subtly is building trust, right?
Yeah.
I'm not real extreme in that, but I do watch their bit. Yeah, see?
So you sit back,
Yeah.
Like
and Paul's-
modeling
pull the
stuff,
coffee
yeah.
cup.
That builds
and
trust.
subtly people, it actually is a trust technique
Yeah.
to mimic what they're doing. So a lot of psychology in real estate.
Sure.
One of the other things I always believe in real estate is we always have two buckets. So wherever I'm at, one has gas, one has water. And so I'm aware, especially in real estate transactions, when things get a little hairy or when we're dealing with people, I can either add some water to that or I can add some gas to that. I found if I add gas, most people can light that fire without the gas. And so, depending where I'm networking, who I'm talking to, because sometimes people will tell you all kinds of gossip and did you hear and did you do, and it's the world out there. So I really purpose it. It would be really easy sometimes to go with that other emotion that just kind of gets in the flow, and that's where the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Where think about what you're about ready to say, and if you don't have anything nice, find a way to just say, oh, that's really great, or find something positive. And that does take an art. I'm not always perfect at that, but cheers.
We just attended the Kim Anderson School of Business with a minor in psychology. Thank you.
Most of them are personal life challenges I learned the hard way, just so you know. Yeah. A lot of people psychology, and I study that a lot, and I'm not perfect. I'm as emotional as anybody else, but I'm learning to check my reaction. Would you say respond, not react?
Yeah.
Because you'll lose in this business. If you react, you lose every time.
There are probably times,
true.
though, when you do need to put gas on something, and
Yeah.
you have that in your toolbox.
I
Like,
have that in my toolbox, yeah.
there's people that need to be led.
Yeah.
And like, here's
Correct.
what you should do. Let's do this.
Yes, I
You know,
agree.
and you have that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's knowing when to add gas or water. That's
Yeah,
it.
and I agree.
And then you
to
get
the
a
point.
grease fire. You gotta smother it and just
Yeah.
get it out of there.
It's like,
Just
Smother it,
add
get it
water.
outside. Smother
Right.
it. Don't add water to the grease fire.
Yes.
All right.
yeah, and that's a really good point because that's different in than leading, because we do need to lead,
Right.
and we do need to sometimes tell clients who aren't making a move, this is a great house for you, you need to do this today.
Yeah.
So there's a little different in there, but managing people, usually kindness will always win out, and sometimes I can feel myself like that felt really confrontational. It's like,
Yeah.
hang on a minute.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And this is referring mostly to agents. Like, they're out there every single day with all different personalities and other agents even.
Oh
And,
gosh, yeah.
Yeah, we could go on that subject.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody wins in that.
Yeah.
So that's a whole nother subject, but
So I have another question.
Sure.
And if anyone out there has a question, you can certainly submit it if you want. You get to be involved in agents' lives at 5-star, and you get to see their businesses and such things. And so often people think why are they so successful and why am I not so successful? And what is it? What am I missing? What am I missing? Is there like a secret recipe to this? Is there? How would you respond to that? Having a view of how you've seen a lot of people try stuff, doesn't work. Can you speak to that a little bit?
I can. I don't think there's one recipe, but I think there's a few things behind it. One is diligence, and we hear Greg say this all the time. When we meet with agents, I don't know your grit. Often, it's going to be what's your focus? I think often it's your focus, because agents that come in that maybe have those questions, why am I failing, typically may have a distraction, whether they have young kids at home, and nothing against young kids, but they're a full-time mother, or they have a job at a bank, or they have a second job. I see that a lot. And a lot of times it's about focus. It's where you're putting your energy. We know, we've all learned, what you focus on expands. And when you have divided interests, I think it's hard to be successful in this career, because it's so demanding. It's so on right now. It's like in the moment, I want to see a house. You have to be able to adjust, and there's no room to be second. There's just no room there. So I would say focus is really important. Diligence is really important. And second, what's your sphere? Yeah. I think the sphere is so important. Who do you know? If I ask that when I interview agents who want to become a realtor, what's your sphere? It's one of my first questions. And when you're from out of town and you haven't built relationships, I let them know it might be a little harder for you, but where do you play in traffic?
Yeah.
You need to go get a cooking class really fast.
Yep.
So I think it's about relationships and about how hard are you willing to work, because it's not a business that's very easy. It's a lot of hard work, right? It can be fun, it's very rewarding, but I wouldn't put easy and real estate together. Would you? I wouldn't.
I think certain personality types are maybe more inclined to have that sort of magnetic appeal, where it's easier for them to make those connections and make those relationships turn into business. But I do completely agree with you that I feel like the number one factor of success in this business is how hard are you going to work, and how bad do you want this? How much grit do you have? Are you going to show up every day? And consistently. Yes. It's got to be consistent over time. Yep. Because you can go hard and then burn out, but you have to build just a level of consistency in your life where and you treat this like a business.
Yep.
I think that you see people. There's nothing wrong with part-time realtors. There's nothing, in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing.
But if you're a part-time realtor, as you just stated, you're giving it half of your brain, and so it'll probably reflect you giving it half of your brain.
Right. I remember times. So when I got into real estate, I've always been single, no second income. And I remember times after open house, I'd have my, 5 or 6 people that checked in. So Monday was my follow-up day, and then at 5 o'clock, I'd write them an email, and then at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, then I would call them. And I remember not wanting to call somebody. Last thing I wanted to do was call a stranger. Do you want to buy a house? And I remember just saying, pick up the phone. And every time when I picked up the phone, and if I could get them on the other end, I always won that client. But it's a matter of picking up the phone.
It's like going to the gym.
It's like going to the gym.
It's like you don't want to go in the morning necessarily, but how many people, when they get back from the gym, go, man, I really regret going to the gym today?
And every time, there always is the reward. And afterwards, sometimes all right, you need a paycheck. You have to find somebody that wants to buy a house. You need to pay your bills. Yeah. And so after I called them, I always felt so good. Like, I'm so glad I made that call. Yeah. And so those are the things that
it's super empowering when you call that person from the open house, and then they confirm that they do want to work with you, and they liked you, and they enjoyed meeting with you, and now you got a new client.
Yes.
That feeling of getting a new client.
It's a drug.
Oh yeah.
It's a drug. I always tell the agents, how's your emotional? One of the things I ask. This is an emotional business. When it's good, it's good. It's high, it's high. And when it's low, how are you going to handle those? Yeah. Because there is a high in real estate. It's a drug when they say, I want to work with you. And so that always is such a good, empowering feeling. And you keep on that, and that will sustain you through the lows. Because you'll remember, your brain will remember that there's a reward here, and no's just become part of it. The other thing is, if you don't ask, the answer is always no. Right? It's always no. If I don't ask for the business, the answer is always going to be no.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's just a matter of just wondering, could I send you
Even
some
like that.
listings?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, one other thing that I've seen over the years is that certain people are kind of a little sheepish about being a realtor. Which is kind of odd to say because that's what we do. But there are certain people who feel like, well, I don't want to look like they use things like, I don't look like a used car salesperson. I don't want to look like I'm a shark, whatever. But then you see those people in the same room who are going, no, I bring value. I help people. I'm passionate about what I do. I'm proud to be a realtor. And I actually think that pride in being a realtor and bringing that help and believing that you bring tons of value to the table and believing that what you do is amazing and you're going to actually give them a gift by helping them walk through this, that I think is also contagious, and I think people can feel it. They can sense the fact that you love what you do.
And I agree that often we have to do that reframe. You do have to do a reframe in their thinking. And well, what if you approach it this way? And they're like, oh, I can do that.
Yeah.
And I was the same way. I didn't want to be some salesy type person, some shark, But when I would reframe in my mind, I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you through this process and bring you value. It's
almost like stop selling and just start communicating, start connecting, start building connections, stop selling.
Right. Exactly.
If you give them care and you show them care and they can see that care and they can see that you are good at what you do, you don't have to sell them on yourself necessarily.
You just provide the service. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah.
That's good.
Good.
Well, in our closing moments, that was 30 minutes. Was it fast?
That was fast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so 35 minutes.
Oh.
So, is there any word of advice or anything you'd want to say to maybe the people in Kalamazoo or Grand Rapids or
anyone
in general?
new?
Are you available for conversations, for example?
Sure, I'm always available for agents. I do that all day long. My calendar is always open. I always ask agents to please call me even ahead of time and say, can I stop in and see you? Because that way they get my undivided attention. During the day we have phone, text, emails, questions. So I love meeting with agents, and I wish that they'd get on my calendar more for one-on-one or have coffee or something, because I like to share. I like to share the wisdom, but I need to have someone ask me. We have trainings, but we don't get an opportunity to really share one-on-one. So this time of year, while everyone's slower, I do try to get some coffees or a drink out with somebody and just talk with them as people. One of the things that I miss during the busy season is we are so transactional. So this time of year, we get to go out and we get to stop for a minute, ask how you're doing, what are you doing for Christmas. I'm a relationship person.
Sure.
And I'm sure other people are as well, and that always feels really nice. So I have lots of wisdom. I'm not really sure where to pull from, except I would say, make sure you're taking care of yourself every day. It's really easy to put out. You can't put out what you're not taking in. And it's hard for me. In the mornings, I get up, my mind's going, my list is going, I want to get this going, get my emails, get my phone, get my text. And I've been making a point to stop even for 15 minutes and read something, or even if it comes at me daily online like John Maxwell, something for a second, like world stop for a minute, because I can't give out what I'm not taking back in.
That's good advice.
If that's exercising, last night was a long day, never even had time to take a break, and I go to the gym, like get rid of the stress. It wasn't like it was bad, it's just busy, right? Yeah. So find the things that will build you up, because I always say this in closing is a house can only be as big as its foundation. And so always work on your foundation. Because if a house grows too fast, what's it supported by? And you, as the agent, are the one who's out there doing all of this, so you have to take care of yourself. And, so that'd be my biggest wisdom. Is
wise words.
That's good.
Yeah.
Wise words.
Yeah.
Are you my secret Santa? I'm just kidding.
We're not supposed to tell that yet.
We can't announce that yet.
We can't tell that yet. You have to wait.
Kim thinks this is all great information. So
are we
high five it?
High fiving?
Yep. We're
right.
good.
Can I give a shout out for the Christmas party?
Please do.
Yes.
Okay, we'll see everybody on Friday.
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow? No, tomorrow's Thursday.
Okay. Friday.
Oh, whew.
Just emphasizing.
Okay, Friday.
Friday.
Downtown Grand Rapids, the Graham, from
6 o'clock to 10 o'clock.
6 o'clock, 10 o'clock.
I have that right this time.
What do we wear? Is it
okay,
formal?
this is a good question.
Black tie? What is
Some
it?
people will be wearing sequins.
Yep.
Okay.
Others will be dressed maybe a little more like how Leo and I are dressed, and Kim as well. So I think it's sort of, what is it, like holiday attire, festive attire, cocktail attire, You know, if you wore buffalo check, I think you'd fit in. It'd be okay. But,
Okay.
you know,
We won't turn anyone away.
no one's
common
getting
jeans.
turned away.
All right.
No one's getting turned away. So, look forward to
It's
seeing
gonna be
everybody
fun.
there.
It was awesome last year. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
All right, thanks. Bye, everybody.
All right, see
See
ya.
everybody.